Assalamu alaikum, good morning, good evening, namaste, sat sri akal, and welcome to day two of batch three. Every single person. I'm so excited that every single one is here and other people are joining as we are moving straight forward. Let's get to the bit. We are going to discuss how to solve PMP questions. How to solve PMP questions. So I'm going to give you my seven-step formula. Those seven-step formula, we will go more in depth as we move forward. Right now, we are going to discuss the first three, four initial steps that are very important we need to know. Okay. Before that, put in the chat box what happened in the five process. We discussed there are five process groups: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closing. We discussed in initiation, we made the project charter, then assumption log, and then stakeholder register. Three things are done in initiation. Initiation means you are starting something. Okay? Initiation means you are starting something. With the project charter, your initiation is started. You make assumption log. Today we'll discuss both of the assumption log and the stakeholder register. Then in planning, you make a project management plan. The planning is all about how to do something. Planning is all about how we are gonna do something, right? In execution, we did not plan, we just do it. In monitoring and control, we compare plan versus actual. Like, you see, here we made the plan. Here we made the plan. Here we said, okay, let's, in execution, I don't review my plan, I just do it. Do in execution, straightforward, I do it. Now, someone mute yourself, please. Now, in monitoring and control, I am comparing my plan versus actual. Do I need to change my plan? Does my plan need to be updated? Right? This is called variance analysis. You will check plan versus actual. For example, the plan was the plan was to complete three topics yesterday. Okay. I completed two topics and then I gave you two topics to do question answers. Today we are gonna check how many topics question answers you did. How many topic question answers you did? Variance analysis. Plan versus actual. We are comparing it. We are identifying how we can improve. Maybe raise change request to update the plan. Okay. And finally, once the work is completed, we close the project. These are called five process groups. This is how we do work in that. We start something, then we plan it, then we execute, that is work on it. Then in monitoring and control, we compare plan versus actual, and then we close the project. Take a screenshot of this. It's an important thing for you. You must know what happens in initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closing. Plan, work, compare, and change the plan, close the project. Okay. Stakeholder register. In initiation, we make project charter, assumption log, and stakeholder register. Okay. These are the things we are making here. Now, how do we solve PMP? How do how to solve PMP questions? There's a proper method that needs to be followed, that needs to be worked into that. Okay. The first step in solving the question answer is very interesting. Slow down. Yes, you read it right. Slow down. Okay. Slow down. That is very important. How we worked into that. Okay, Vignesh, questions I will take later on. Right now, let me explain this. Slow down. This is a very important thing. Most of you are not native English speakers. English is your second language or third language. Even if English is your primary language, we feel that, especially when the timer is there, because in the exam, you will have 4 hours or 230 minutes. The timer will be running in opposite direction. There's a tendency that we try to run too quickly. I'm telling you, you are not gonna run out of time. You are not gonna run out of time, but you need to slow down. You need to, it's very critical, it's very important that you slow down. When you slow down, then you will be able to understand what the question is really saying. Otherwise, you will move quickly. The most important step, slow down. That is the most important step. And this is a practice. You cannot just one day slow down. You need to continuously. Otherwise, in the exam, what will happen? You will move fast. So number one thing is slow down. Second thing, if the question is more than 3 liners, read last line first. Read last line first. If the question is more than 3 liner, read the last line first. Most of the time, the last line will give you the context, like what the question is asking. Everything else in the question is like of a useless thing. The last thing is the real question. Read the last line, what the question is really asking. We slowed down, we read the last line. 2 steps, very important. Step number 3, if you don't do this one, you cannot solve question. Every question will have a keyword. Every question will have a keywords. I need to identify the keyword. The keyword can be that you are in a predictive life cycle, iterative life cycle, agile life cycle. There must be something in the keyword. I need to find out the keywords in the question. And every question will have it. It is practically impossible. We are unable to find it, but the question will have something. The question will tell you itself. Is it an agile question or a predictive question? Or is it a hybrid question? The question will tell you what you should do, what the problem is. But please note that if you don't slow down, you cannot identify the keywords. I need to slow down to identify the keywords. Very critical. I need to slow down to identify the keywords. It goes hand to hand. Identifying keyword cannot be done without slowing down. So that's why slow down is the first step. Read the last line, identify keywords. Keywords. Now, with the keywords, you will see which process group are you in. Are you in initiation or are you in planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closing? What happens in initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control? Initiation, these 3 things happen. Project charter, assumption log, stakeholder register. Planning, we make plan. Execution, we do the work. Monitoring and control, we compare the plan with the actual and change the plan. In closing, we close the project. Okay, now I have identified which process groups we are doing it. The next step will be, is it a agile life cycle or is it a predictive life cycle? Identify it. The first top 3 point, if you can only do those, you don't need to do anything else. That will take care of this thing. But the 6th step. Now, let me put it this thing. If you don't do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and only do this final step, you can get the question right. But as the saying goes, there's a big but. You cannot do this thing if you don't follow the first five steps. The sixth step is elimination. You need to go to all four options A, B, C, D. All four options, and you need to justify yourself why A is wrong, why B is wrong, why C is wrong, why D is wrong, why all options are like why they are wrong. Like let's say you went to the question and you feel A is right. You don't just pick the answer. No, 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 no. You go through option B and justify, okay, why B is wrong and why A is right. Okay, then we go to option C. Okay, why C can be the right or can be wrong. Then D. Please note, this is a normal thing in PMP. Out of four options, only two options are relevant. And two options are right also. Two options are right, not just they are relevant. Out of four options, two options are actually right. So here comes the elimination technique. If you don't go to all options, let's say A look like a right, you choose it and you went. Maybe D is a better option. So you need to go through all options. And the seventh step is root cause analysis. This is the secret sauce of PMP. You need to do root cause analysis of each question. If you don't do both right and wrong, if you don't do, you will make same mistake again, and again. You will keep doing the same mistake. You will not stop. Let's do one question. Okay, let's find some of the questions from our coaching calls that we do. That maybe we can solve. One of the questions, let me see, that you guys can do. Okay. Well, let's do this one. Let's solve this question, try to solve this question and see how we can do that. Okay. So question number 7. You see that this is what happens in the exam. Now the timer is on. The timer is going there. We get confused there how to work into that. No, you don't have to do RC in the exam, Hanbal. You need to do practice. There is only one exam. Why would you do RCA? Right? In exam, you don't need to do. God forbid you don't have to do RCA. Okay? You do in the preparation. Okay. So you see 70 seconds are going there. This actually create a tension in our body. This create a tension in our body. Okay, I need to solve the question. I'm running out of time. Now, we discussed yesterday whenever there's a problem in the agile team, how to do. So let's solve this question. As I said, step number 1, slow down. Step number 2, read the last line first. I'm not gonna go through all step again. Then important to identify keywords, agile, and most importantly, elimination. What can you do to improve communication for this team? Okay, so now I read the last line. I know that there's a problem of communication. Okay, communication is a problem here. You are managing a project where teams are distributed all over the world. So team are all over the world. We are all over the world. I need to see what the problem is there. You are having different communication because of this. Okay, I'm having problem because of this communication. What should I do? Co-locate them. Now this look like the right answer. But elimination technique says that even if I am 100% sure, even if I am 1000% sure, I have to go through every single option. Use collaboration tool like Kanban. Like Kanban is a collaborative tool that identify the bottleneck. Can be not a bad solution. You see, both options are right, but A is better than that. Have a meeting when all that may not be available. Like right now, there are 3 students from Australia. What is time in Australia? Guys, those who are Australia, put in the time. There is one student from Malaysia. There are students from US, Canada. There are students from India, Pakistan. There, like you cannot have a time 1:47 a.m. Now if you complain about the time, it says 2:17 a.m. You are they they would say, sir, we cannot attend the class, but I need to look into that. Okay. Fire non-performing team member. We never fire. We never fire. Very important. Escalation is a last thing. Escalation is the last thing. Have a meeting? No. Now between A and B, both are right option. Both are right options. A is right. This will happen in the entire PMP. Both answers are right, but one of them is better. We know in Agile, we know one of the principles yesterday we discussed about Agile, co-location is preferred. So we would prefer if we can co-locate them. So A would be the right answer. Now, coming to the lesson learned. Coming to the lesson learned. Okay. So when we say we want to do lesson learn, we discussed it yesterday. Lesson learn, how do we do? We go to the file. Okay. We go to the Excel file. Okay. We put in the whatever the topic name, question number. Okay. Let's say the question number was 7. What did I learn from that question? Not what explanation said. What did I learn from that question? I learned, like I can just put, I don't have to put, whenever there is a communication problem, first priority is to co-locate. So this is my lesson learned file. Hanbal, this is a preparation for the exam. Okay, this is the preparation for the exam. In the exam, you don't need to think I need to slow down. No, this should become your habit. Okay, this should become your habit that automatically you are slow. Okay, this should be a second nature to you that you are taking time in the question that is needed, not more, not less. Okay, not more, not less. We are taking that time that I know, okay, this is what is the requirement of my exam. That is why I also say that ignore the time management. People say I need to manage the time. No, you don't need to manage the time. You need to prepare so that time management is irrelevant. Then at the end of the day, when you have an exam tomorrow, like one of the student has exam, so I will tell you how to do that. Co-location is putting all the people at one location. That is co-location. And we discussed yesterday, one of the principle of Agile was that try to co-locate the people to one location so that uh, we can understand each other, we can work into the best way. For example, right now, all of you are Agile team. Let's say, I'm just saying, okay? Some of you turned the videos, some of you didn't turn the videos on. There's a challenge there. If you were in one place, we would have a different thing into that. This is my 7 step. I have written even a small booklet on this. I'll show you, I'll share it with you. But the goal here is not the booklet. The goal here is to understand how to solve the question. Okay, understand how to solve the question. So one more time, as we went through the points, read the question slowly, read the last line, identify the keyword, which process group you are, which life cycle is this, are you a project manager or not, and use elimination technique. In my booklet, Hanbal, because of your question, student does ask that question. I put it as the last thing as a different way. Pro tip, identify a root cause analysis. Okay, identify. I will share this booklet with you guys before even you ask me. I will share everything. Am I clear with solving question answers? How to solve the question? Am I clear with everyone? Vignesh, you raise your hand. But is your question answered?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how solving question is important, how much solving question is important. Right now, I'm gonna send you to breakout room. I want you to solve 10 questions of agile. Okay.
M- me-
Just putting to that, like when you are done with the questions, just submit the options. Okay.
It doesn't allow
No, like
summation. We left with few of the questions.
just mark it. Huh? The purpose here is that,
Okay, I have just marked it.
okay. So let's say you are done with the questions. Now the next step is to identify the lesson learned. Like these are very some basic question. Who plays the role of a servant leader? So the lesson learned I can put in agile Scrum Master is like for me is like a grease between two wheels. Or you can put as a facilitator. I'm just giving an example. Okay, then this question exactly just like that we solve the question. So we need, this is a very interesting question. An agile project using Scrum methodologies with almost fixed scope is behind schedule. What may be the reason? We discussed one of the basic concept of agile that a person should be 100% dedicated. So that's a big lesson learned you learned here, which you can put in the like in your lesson learned file. Now, what is happening here? You will do 50 questions of agile, like let's say just about yesterday, 18 questions of fundamental, 50 questions of agile. You got 70 lesson plan. So when you go to the next class, when you go to the next topic, you will be able you will be able to automatically review this lesson learn and now improve your question answers. Got my point? Everyone is clear?
Yes.
Okay. This is a very important thing that I wanted to share with all of you, and this is something that is very, very critical for exam. Okay. Now,